This day 571 of Arukh HaShulchan Yomi. If you'd like to sponsor upcoming share more of Arukh HaShulchan Yomi, please contact me directly. We'd be very greatly appreciated. Today we're doing Siman Shin Lamed Vav, Sif Chotes to Sif Lamed Hey. Chotes. Yesterday we talked about soaking kernels of wheat or barley in water where they sprout and there's a rare. They're continuing on that. Chotes. V'im actually is by usually zom litain ezemin for or zom tchamaim shishusham ez yummy. Be careful not to put any type of grain or seeds into water where they were spent several days. And this would fall into the category of the primary of Zoreh. You're putting barley in order to make malt, which I guess we call sprouting it. It's total amalacha. If you're putting it there to stay several days, when you put it, even though it ends after Shabbos, the beginning on Shabbos is mechayiv. But took a room for water. Part your example. Just like somebody who puts dough in the oven, immediately removes it. Seeds which cling together when they're put in water. Also, they're also written completely, and it's lisha, kneading. Put in front of your animal. Wheat and barley. Anything which doesn't cling together. Since it is temporary. In other words, it's about to be eaten. Raisins, the shad, persuasion, other dry food. Mutter name my Shabbos. Water on Shabbos. But to put them there in order to be pickled. Which would there be there for a long time. Also, that's been as though kodesh kavashim, which I believe in this is the rabbanon, not the raisa. They don't only permitted to eat them immediately or shortly thereafter. Lime because Rabbi Ramah, the Sibirav, Mutar Lamid Antay Lonas of Mayim B'Shabbos Vachloyev and Prachim Shoshanim Shem Niftachim Milachluchis Hamayim Akal Shana. You're allowed to put in branches of trees on Shabbos in water, as long as they don't have flowers and buds, which will open on account of the moisture. Period Vav means to say the Antay Lonas Shem Mayim Mikom Shabbos Hashvat Shliach Moshu. If you have branches which were in the water before Shabbos, so they should not wilt. Mr. Bura points out that it have to be prepared from yesterday to be ornaments in the house, because generic tree branches would be muktzah. Good point. Beneath a man b'Shabbos, let's say they're taking it out of the water on Shabbos, or kodem Shabbos, or before Shabbos. You turn them to the same water. The Mr. Bura says that some Achronim would say that even chatchila, you have to put them in a pitcher that has water which was there from before Shabbos, and they only forbade adding water, and not only because of Tircha Yisera. The Sharatzian says it's possible you can lie on this if you forgot to put the branches in from before Shabbos, since they have no flowers. And there's no Chashash D'Oraisa. Back to Arukh HaShulchan. I will also see if I'm not allowed to add to the water. It's certainly not to exchange water. Mishnah freshly besukah linear lulav ayin sham talks about what we do with the lulav on Shabbos. Perish Rashi atam etochli kuni mana. Rashi says it's a tircha to fix it. It seems like it could be the raisa, could be the rabbanon. Torah kuni mana. Ayin sham sheish ben programs shoshanim when they have flowers and buds. Asum choli yakshanostam sheishu sham. You're not allowed to you're forbidden to put them in water, that they should remain there. It's planting. Because they grow and open up and grow the flowers and the buds. It's only not allowed to spill water on Shabbos on the vessels where the branches are. Shekroim vases, I guess vases. It's amloch zoreh. Beinim heim nekubim, bein einem nekubim. Whether they are perforated or not perforated. The pshita zoreh chayav gam batit shein rakuf. They're liable for planting even in a non-perforated pot. It's not like plucking. The chol means zoreh have amalocha. Plucking is only plucking from the ground, But any type of planting, even planting when sprouts in water, is considered planting. So this is a chiddush to me because I thought that flowers, once they're cut, they're dead, and the fact that they open up is not a form of zoreh. But Arukh HaShulchan says it is a form of zoreh, and at least to Rabbanan, perhaps even the Raisa. Lam Rav, Arash b'tshuva chiddush inyan otzit shena nakuv, and a little bit clear metalton also. Well, the Rosh says the whole idea of a non-perforated pot is only in a vessel which you carry, which you move, such as a flower pot, etc. But something is stationary, such as you have a roof garden, you fill it with dirt and planted it. If you pluck something out of that, you're chayiv. Maybe raya, maybe Mishnah the Meisers. Raya, the B'tzam Shishu Shabbaliyah, it says in the Mishnah the Meisers that onions which took root in the second floor, tirum l'tamei, the tar, no longer tamei. Alma the Chashim Mechabar. It's clear that it seems that they're connected. It's they're connected. Pikshu Allah, they asked upon him. The Rash Havi Yerushalmi, the Rash means Yerushalmi. The Zeraklin the Tuma the Torah Ripsa. It's only for Tuma. The Torah was Marbet Tara for Zroim, so therefore, even if they're planted in Aliyah, it's considered being B'Torah. Not for everything else. The those who answer the Yerushalmi, Omer Shlomi Nation wrote about Shlosh Son. The Yerushalmi is a place where you don't want them to take root. Avrot about Shlosh Son. But if you want to take root, then wherever it's planted, it's considered to be mechubar. To me, I am astounded. The Hedya, this is what the Magen Avraham, but the Arukh HaShulchan rejects this. He says the Hedya Yerushalmi Dachila Yerushalmi rejects this premise. I am Shabbos Shomer, the Shabbos ain't chiluk. There's no distinction. Rambam, Av Masas Pasuk Gamli and Ma'aser Davakum B'chubar. I'm asking that also in terms of Ma'aser, it's like it's connected to the ground. Because he holds that Bushalmi says it's only for connected to Tumah. It's not halacha, it's also connected in terms of Meiser. Rabbi Shimon who feel like a cane, that Torah says the Torah. It's only Rabbi Shimon holds that the Torah was added additional Torah for seeds. Shabbos Isa cane. Also in our Gemara it says She'omer Sham L'chom Bila Rabbi Shimon Ketolish Mashvelei. Rabbi Shimon considers like Polish for all matters, except Tumah. Tumah, Rivsa, Eitz Taras, the Torah gave you a greater latitude for saying see the Torah. And Sham Rabban Lamashichilik, Rabbanim don't draw any such distinction. Chomilik and Mechubar Mashla, in every other respect, it's like Mechubar. Bezel Gang Das HaRosh, and that's also the opinion of the Rosh, that anything stationary is considered to be Mechubar La Karka. In other words, anything non-portable. Lama base. We already quoted the Rambam says that figs which dried on their stems, and a tree in which which fruit has dried on it. If you pluck from the Shabbos Yuchayev, even though in terms of Tumah, they are considered to be uprooted and can be Mukshal Kabal Tumah. Balance if you give them explain the Zel Shapera Nisyabsha. That's only if it's the fruit which dried, not the primary part of the tree. In this option, the primary part of the tree has become dry. And there's no it's the rest of Flisha, but the Mishnah says, but it's the Rabban you have even in grasses, even the Chiv Chatos, like the case he says in Bialacha, which is not brought down here. The Rambam, which mentions figs independently of other fruit, the Rambam. The Rambam we know preserves the language of the Gemara. Gemara Lo's character only mentions figs. Ayin Sham. They slowly toast the rock potato madin cane. In order to make a mistake, I say it's only the halacha by figs. That's a road. Also in a tree. All trees are equivalent in this respect. So dry grass is certainly like it is already plucked. The Shibura and the Bialacha wrote that some say that even if the fruit dried and the stems dried, and even if the tree is completely dry, in other words, if the trunk will no longer renew itself, nevertheless you're chayiv. And many posts can hold that on the other hand, you're only chayiv, like the Arukh HaShulchan says, where only the fruit dried up, but the stems are all still moist. Let's see, that's more than the Arukh HaShulchan. Or if the tree was dry, but its trunk is going to renew itself. Or if it's completely dry, you're exempt both on the fruit and on the tree because they are ready, as if they're already plucked. Lama Gimel. Yesh Yitzchak Lizar b'malbush shenasemi or behema. Those who say have to be careful with a garment made out of leather. Not to remove pluck a hair out of it. It's like you're plucking from a live animal. Some you pluck from a dead animal. He's liable because plucking the hair is like shearing it. Furthermore, you shouldn't sever things from your own skin, whether it's your hand or other places, because that which is your skin is like a mechuber karka. Based on Heshen, to them have a karka. Man is like land. You have to be careful if you wear foxes on, fox furs in the winter, or varg or any other types of fur. And also by hats which are made out of hairs, presumably hair still in a hide of some sort. Not to remove even one hair. If you do, if it's shogeg, amazing skila, and if it's deliberate, you're chayav skila. Also, when you have skin strips around the nails, the bleed, don't pluck them off. Is like you're plucking from that which comes in mechuber karka, and you're liable to chatos. So all that is a quote from a Yesh Omrim, which evidently is the Taz. Now he says, Lamadav, I'm astonished at the first halacha, this first of all, logically, just like plucking from the ground, it's only when it's connected to the ground. So to plucking from an animal, it's only when the animal's alive. And besides that, this is considered explicitly to be smoothing, not to be plucking. When you remove the hair from the hide. What is the smoothing? Somebody removes hair, or womb, or from the hide after death, until it smooths the hide. Because say somebody plucks hair from the hide of that animal. It's liable because of plucking, or feel liable even from one hair. Why should you have to wait until actually take enough hair to make it smooth? Can't say that when you make it smooth, you chayav twice, one for tolesh and one for memachek. Because that should have been specified. The Gemara says explicitly, somebody who plucks off a feather from a bird, a coat mo, and you cut it, and you rip off the feathers. Chayav shlosh chatos, you chayav 3 chatos. Tolesh, mishum goes is plucking on feathers because of shearing. Kotem, when you smooth it. No, when you cut it make a quill out of it. Shum chatech, because of cutting to size. Memaret mishum memachi. No, the tolesh shum goes is size. Tolesh shum goes is when you pluck it from the bird. That tolesh is gozes. And then when you cut it to the size, like to make it a quill, that's mechatech. And right, when you remove the feathers, that's memachik, smoothing. As he explains now, when you take a feather off a living bird, that's the tolish. And afterwards, if you cut it and remove the feathers, once it's off the bird, only chayim memachik, and chayim memachik not because of tolish. Laminate, but feeling the flesh, I told you that's called alchemist. And if you want to say that he's plucking the feather here, it means after death. And except around Perikla Godel, you comes up only by a bird and not by an animal. The Polish lav hainu gozes. It says explicitly that plucking is not shearing. Only by bird you're chai for plucking, because that's the derech to pluck feathers. Not by animals. The Ram differentiates between plucking and shearing. Ushami, which says that it seems to say that if you pluck from a dead animal, you're chayav. Because plucking, that case is shearing. Ushami leka behem. Ushami is not talking about an animal. It's going on a bird. This is the language of Yerushalmi. The Makshah Rish Lakish. Yes, Rish Lakish Betolish Bekachim, who asks why you exempt if you pluck in a Kachim. But you did he himself say a Tolish Graf of Chaim Shum Gozes? If you pluck a feather from a bird, you Chai because of Gozes. Umataritz Lodami, yes, it's not similar. To the Ov Shein Giza, by a bird where there is no shearing, Klishasa, Zuigizasa, the plucking is the shearing. Mashen can be Hema, it's supposed to be an animal. Arukh HaShulchan, you should know this is true. The Tani, Pelish Mina Mesa, Chayav, because it says if you pluck from a dead one, you're liable. Klishasa, Zuigizasa, because the plucking is the shearing. Akan Shono, Yerushalmi evidently is referring with that to the bird. It was just discussion. Persham Meforshin, Pelish Mina Mesa. Some Mefoshim say it means you pluck from a dead, and even a dead animal, you're chayiv. And Sham, finally, Tamels, I'm astonished at this. Because that is a memakik and not tolish. Therefore, must be Sham is only told about a bird. Fachi doesn't mean to say, tolish lav so the plucking is not shearing. Because in the plucking is chayiv after death. And by an animal, there's no logic to say after that plucking is shearing. And even though shearing is chayiv also after death, Tosefta says it's like a Rambam Perak design. The Gozes says if you shear wool or hair mina behema from an animal, whether it's alive or dead, chayiv. But that's if you're shearing. But to say even after that tolesh is gozes, the plucking is geziza, ain't smart. That doesn't make sense. Right? But like a giza only by bird where there's no shearing, it's for a shah. You could say that in the case of tolesh hanu gozes, even when it's dead. That's what he says. The gozes shak kamar chamisa and shearing shak also after that. I have a tolesh. But actual plucking by any other creature, it's only my life. When it's live, just like a tree, it's good. If you pluck it from it while it's alive. Because we said, after it dies, it's like it's severed from the ground. As long as Mishnah Berurah says that somebody who plucks from a live tree, no, from a live animal, it's potter, because it's not the derech to pluck from an animal, only to shear. But somebody who plucks with their hand from a dead animal, the derech is to pluck like shearing, and you're chayav, not like Arukh HaShulchan. That's by a behemah chayav, but by birds, whether they're alive or dead, you're chayav the raisa, because the plucking is their shearing. Bialacha rejects the raisa in Yerushalmi, the Rambam, and he writes that it's forbidden to pluck off the feathers with a tool. He also writes that goat hair is like the feathers of a bird, because normally one plucks goat hair. And therefore, when you shech a goat, you have to be careful not to pluck from the not Shabbos, and not to pluck from the neck the thin hair which is over there. Okay, back to Arukh HaShulchan and the brackets here. So he says, Ken is like all these distinctions are his own opinion. Ram says you pluck a feather from a bird, gozes, it's a derivative of gozes. Somebody who takes removes the feathers from the removes the fibers from the fibers from the feather. Yeah. That is smoothing. When I am shop, I am down the base. Much time. Mishum tolish l'chayim, but not chayim because of tolish. V'gam b'sham mishum keinu my sham. V'lachar misa chayim b'tolish. If after death you chayim because of tolish, chayim mishum mochik. How can you say it's mochik? It's a contradiction. It's tzorch iyun gadol. So he seems to say one hand that it's gozes when you pluck from the feather off, but when you smooth it, it's moichek. but it can't be Tolish. I'm not. I guess he's saying the Taz is Tzarech Gadol. Rambam seems to make sense here.